And good evening. I'm Justin Horwitz in the Sulky with my special guest, Andrew Harris. Andrew, we're going to be seeing a lot of you tonight. In addition to In the Sulky, you're going to be my special guest host later on in the SNY Hour. So I got to ask you, you had a Hambletonian horse last year for the first time. What do you think is going to be more nerve-wracking, being in the Hambletonian for the first time or sitting next to me for an hour of live TV?
I'm going to take the live TV one. I mean, the horse training part's natural. This isn't natural for me.
All right, well, so we gotta get some qualifiers right now in the Sulky. So, well, let's go back to last Saturday, Vegas Vacation, a horse that hadn't won since 2013. And I was speaking to Pete Koch. He said, I'm not sure that I've seen a horse at the Meadowlands that hasn't won in 3+ years. That's 1-5. And that horse surely delivered. That was a huge performance. What's it been like trying to get this horse back from all the issues he's had?
Well, Casey gets all the credit there. She got him back and sent him to me back ready, but it's been a lot of patience, a lot of time, and most of all, just letting him tell you what he's ready for and what he's not ready for. I mean, we can't push these things. They're not machines. They won't just go out there and do it. So they tried to bring him back, I think, early 2016. The signs were saying, no, he's not ready for it. So brought him back in, turned him out for 3 months, and then started all over again. And this time he's come back really good.
You have a horse like that who was, a Little Brown Jug champion, a millionaire, had so much success at 3. Tell the fans what it's like from your perspective as a trainer. What do you really have to do when you say start all over and get him ready? Really, what does it take on a day-to-day basis when you get a horse that has a serious injury to the point where he's winning off in 50 or 49 last weekend?
You know, it's actually the toughest thing because we do this thing where we don't want to train them the way we normally train the rest of our stable. And that's tough because it's not your program then. Now you've changed your program. You're not doing it the way you do it for a normal horse. You're being softer on them, making sure that they don't re-injure themselves. And that makes it a lot difficult because we sometimes are too soft on them, and then it takes them 4 or 5 starts to get back ready.
And that's exactly what it was for him. So what's the plan now? I know you told me he won on the front end, and that gave you a lot of confidence with him. So is it too much to look too far down the line knowing the baby steps it took just to get him to the winner's circle the first time?
You know, I don't know. It's one of those things where we're going to take him to Yonkers this weekend. We're going to try him over there, see how things go over there. And, if he goes out and he's amazing, then we'll try him in the Levy Series and go from there. But it's all baby steps right now. He's going to tell us what he wants to do and what he's ready for, and we'll listen.
Certainly would be a tremendous comeback story this season if we get a horse off that kind of layoff to regain some of that form. That would be a lot of fun. Now, as for another top horse in your stable, Weightlifter K, this was the Hambletonian horse, finished 4th, took you to the biggest spots in the sport, Hambo Day, Breeders' Crown, Kentucky Futurity, but you didn't start with him in your stable. So tell us the story of how he came to your stable and what you had to do to get him to the point where he was competitive in the final.
I gotta thank Bob Key for trusting me with a horse like that. He sent that horse to me. Chuck had another one for the same class, and he decided that he was going to make a change. He sent him to me, he was a great horse. Chuck gets a lot of credit. He did a great job with the horse. He came in, he just kind of liked the program, and he fit it. He wasn't the top horse of the year, but he was about 4th or 5th best, and, he took me to all the big dances, gave me all the biggest thrills in the world. Even though I was 4th in the Hambo, it felt like it was a win.
You're 32 years old. You've been out on your own for 2 years now. Did you ever think when you opened your own stable that you would have a horse like that so quickly?
I dreamed of it. I didn't hope it, but I dreamed of it.
That's what this game's all about.
Absolutely.
So does that make you reevaluate the goals you have for yourself as a trainer when you have that kind of success so early on?
No, because I know how dangerous this game can be, and I think that you can't rely on your laurels in this game. So no, I'll take each year as they come, and hopefully I can keep building. Have a good year last year, hope to have a better year this year, and just want to look at it that way.
Yeah, it was a career year for you last year, but you got your start working for Casey Coleman. 9 years as her top assistant, and certainly she had plenty of great horses that you were able to be around. What was the biggest thing you learned in working with Casey that you now use when you have your own stable every day?
I think business and people skills, and people don't give her enough credit for that, and I think that's one of the things I took away from her the most that I could and tried to, imply in my own stable. But she was great with the business side of it, and she was great with the people skills and telling people about how their horses are going and how they're progressing and if they're not good enough for certain classes.
And speaking of the business side of things, I think it's really interesting. We see, some trainers in our sport have gigantic stables. Burke and Tact are the first that come to mind. And you're a guy that experienced some of that with Casey, who had a huge stable when you were working for her. How do you go out on your own and get clients? How do you get owners that trust you when you're maybe half their age? You're a lot younger. You don't have the track record that some of these other big names do. How do you convince guys like that and gals like that to take a shot on you and give you nice horses?
It started with one horse. one horse. I bought a horse off online, and for $5,000. I bought it with a guy named Evan Katz. We bought this horse named Dewey Rusty was her name, and that was the first horse I bought. And for 6 months, that was the only horse I had. And it just slowly built up, you know, did good with that one, bought another one, did good with that one, bought another one, and then had a few other people call me here and there, and it just slowly built up.
And it was a lot of that because of things other than success on the track? I mean, obviously people see you winning races, they want to give you horses, but beyond that, like the people skills and you know, those conversations you have with people, how important is that for somebody trying to build up their stable?
Well, it's absolutely, it's of the utmost importance. I mean, people are entrusting you with millions of dollars of stock, so I mean, you've really got to be able to be trusted, and you got to be able to communicate all the things that some of these guys don't know about horses. So you got to be able to communicate it in a version that they can understand, and that's the key part of it.
So what's your stable look like now? Where are you based? How many horses? And what's kind of the breakdown of what you have as far as 2-year-olds versus race horses, etc.?
I got about 34 race horses right now at White Birch Farms in Allentown, New Jersey. Beautiful spot. And I got about 12 babies, 2 trotters, and 10 pacers.
Okay, so have you developed at this point, would you rather have the stakes horses, the race horses? I mean, how do you'll take anything people give you, or what's kind of your plan?
Well, I want both. You know, this time of year you want race horses because you want to be able to pay for the babies that are in training. But when it comes to summer, I want more stakes horses. You know, but I want those race horses during the winter time because you can make a lot of money right now, and they pay the bills on the ones that aren't making money right now.
When you look at the racing landscape on the East Coast here, I mean, we hear a lot, we read about it in the newspapers a lot about horse shortages and all the different challenges that horsemen are facing right now in the Northeast. When you look at it from your perspective, what do you see as the biggest challenge facing horsemen right now moving forward in this part of the country?
Well, yeah, horse shortage is a very tough problem right now. I mean, I'm trying to buy horses, and it's hard to find horses to buy. One of the biggest challenges we got is probably, you know, we got to get more babies out there in these sales. There's a lot of the big stables have the buying power to buy up all the horses, and it makes it so there's not enough of them left over. We need to get more supply for our demand.
That's a major problem, and it seems like there's no real easy solution in sight, especially given how long it takes when you're in the breeding business. I mean, you're breeding horses that aren't going to be ready to race for years.
Well, I think one of the biggest things we can do going forward is we gotta make sure that these non-winners races are stocked up so that it's worth the breeders to have these babies, and we'll pay more for a baby if we know that if they're not quite stakes horses, we can go to numbers of 2 and race for 20,000 or something like that and get out on them. You know, if a stud fee's 10,000, you can go to numbers of 2 and race for 20,000. It makes it a lot easier to kind of go that route.
When you're trying to find owners and you're talking to people that are looking to get into the game, all of that sounds great, but I think that takes a kind of a longer time horizon when you're talking to somebody about buying a yearling, waiting at least a year, then maybe waiting another year for that horse to get the opportunity to race non-winners at 2. When you see purses and claiming races that are so nice and you see the opportunity, I can get a horse this week, race him back next week, and make all my money back right away. How hard is it to convince somebody to take a longer view as an owner?
Well, I don't think that it's something that I would talk a new owner into, actually. I think that that's for the people that are experienced in the game and understand the game. I don't think that a new owner should come in and get a baby. The odds of babies are up there anyway, so there's no point in trying that route right off the get-go. You might as well buy a horse that can go in. I wouldn't say a claim or anything like that. I think the claiming's a tough game for owners too, but you know, you buy a horse that's a numbers of 4 type horse, find them some series and stuff like that, and try to go that route.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing unless you're a new owner that maybe has that kind of risk tolerance, so to speak, you know?
Oh yeah, if they want to go big, then we'll go big.
Yeah, and you're a good guy for that. Andrew Harris is going to be our guest all night long here at the Meadowlands. You'll see him later on tonight on Meadowlands Harness Live on SNY. He'll be with me for races 7, 8, and 9. We're trying to make you into a TV star in addition to being a training star. We'll see what we can do. Thanks a lot for being with us in the Sulky. We'll see you later on tonight, Andrew.
Thanks, Justin.
All right, coming up, Jen Bongiorno will join me. We'll get you set for tonight's racing action.